A few years ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago maybe, I was living in Houston, Texas. And in my classes, I would talk about systems that were about to collapse, corrupt systems. It feels to me like we're in a whole different time dimension on the planet. And a lot of the systems that have worked for years seem to be falling apart. And the systems that actually take advantage of people and do things, and everybody in the system, that knows the system, knows that they're taking advantage of people and know that they're being dishonest. And it was about that time that Enron collapsed. And took a lot of people, unfortunately, I know some people who it took their fortunes with them, things that they had struggled all their lives to build up their savings. But what I'm looking at in the United States right now is collapse of systems, collapse of things as they've existed because they're no longer appropriate. And I wrote about it. I wrote about if there is an apocalypse in 2012, and I talked about that, bring it on. I don't think it's going to be the big, horrific event that the religious people want it to be. I look at capitalism, I look at the monetary system, I look at the stupidity of me handing you a piece of paper with a picture on it, and you saying, well, this is worth that much, and me going, wow, I guess so. Or the even stupider thing is you hand me a piece of plastic, I say, well, thank you, and we exchange value there, and this fictitious event goes on, and there's more money in my account, less money in yours, but nothing really happens. The big value between what most people want and what most people think they want is zeros, nothing. You know, if you put a 1 and then a 0, you got 10. You put 10 zeros at the end, you've got whatever number that is, and that's what people think they want, but they don't get that. They think that it's just zeros. But a lot of the systems as they exist are corrupt. If you look at the American government, I believe it is probably the most corrupt government in the world. Its hegemonic, imperialistic position on the planet, and Shakespeare said it right. Power corrupts, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And they're using antiquated systems to control people, keeping them in fear, keeping them scared, keeping them... But I think, and it looks like it may happen in my lifetime, these systems are going to collapse. The monetary system, the system of capitalism, all these systems that are based on a corrupt assumption. A thing called the Federal Reserve, just printing as much money as it wants to, and making money out of printing money, right, is antiquated. I don't know what's going to replace it. I don't have any idea. That's what one of my clients wrote to me years ago. I wrote an article on the collapse of systems, and he wrote and said, what's going to replace it? And I don't have any idea on what will replace it. But it's exciting. We're in exciting times. The old, antiquated, the too big to fail, I think are going to fail in my lifetime, and I'm looking forward to it. Because everything has a lifespan. Everything is going to end, and I'm looking forward to its end. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's going to be at least interesting to watch. Chinese proverb, the curse of man is to live in interesting times, and boy don't we.